Have you ever wondered how we, Homo sapiens, went from being just another animal in the middle of the food chain to the rulers of planet Earth? 100,000 years ago, we were insignificant creatures, minding our own business in a corner of Africa. There were at least 5 other human species roaming the planet, like the robust Neanderthals in Europe and the diminutive Homo floresiensis in Indonesia. So, what happened? How did we end up as the last human species standing, with the power to create cities, write symphonies, and even venture into space? The answer lies in a fascinating story, one brilliantly told in Yuval Noah Harari's groundbreaking book, Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind. Today, we are going to dive deep into the 3 major revolutions that shaped our destiny: the cognitive revolution, the agricultural revolution, and the scientific revolution. This isn't just a history lesson, it's the story of us. It's the epic tale of how an unassuming ape conquered the world. Let's rewind the clock to about 70,000 years ago. This is when the cognitive revolution kicked off. It wasn't about our brains suddenly getting bigger. Neanderthals actually had larger brains than we did. Instead, something changed in the internal structure of the sapiens' brain. We developed a new, unprecedented ability, the power of complex language. Now you might be thinking, other animals communicate, right? And you're correct. A monkey can shout, "Watch out, an eagle," or "Careful, a lion." But can a monkey tell you about the eagle it saw last week, or describe the lion from its dreams? No, and that's the crucial difference. Sapiens' language allowed us to do more than just describe reality. It allowed us to talk about things that don't exist in the physical world. This is the secret sauce: fiction. We became the only animal that could create and believe in stories, myths, legends, gods, and laws. Think about it. What is a country? It's not a physical thing you can touch. It's an imagined community we all agree to believe in. What is money? It's just pieces of paper or data on a screen that we collectively agree have value. What about human rights or corporations? They are all fictions, powerful stories that allow millions, even billions of strangers to cooperate effectively. This ability to cooperate in large numbers and with incredible flexibility is what gave us the edge. While a pack of wolves can cooperate, they can't change their social structure overnight. Sapiens could. A group of 150 Neanderthals might be able to defeat 150 sapiens in a brawl. But 1,000 sapiens, united by a common myth, perhaps about a great ancestral spirit or a tribal identity, could easily overwhelm a scattered group of Neanderthals who couldn't organize beyond their small, intimate bands. This new cognitive power allowed us to hunt in sophisticated groups, develop complex social structures, and ultimately spread out of Africa and populate the entire globe, leaving a trail of extinct megafauna and sadly other human species in our wake. So we conquered the planet as hunter-gatherers. Life wasn't so bad. They worked fewer hours than we do today, had a varied diet, and were arguably healthier and happier. So why on earth did we change? This brings us to the second great upheaval, the agricultural revolution, which began around 12,000 years ago. For millennia, we had been masters of our environment, adapting to it. Then we started trying to manipulate it. We began to cultivate plants like wheat and rice, and to domesticate animals like sheep and goats. On the surface, this seems like a brilliant move. More food, a stable supply. We can settle down and build villages. And that's what we did. But Harari calls the agricultural revolution history's biggest fraud. Why? Because while it allowed for a population explosion, the life of the average individual arguably got worse. Farmers had to work much harder from sunrise to sunset, tending to their crops. Their diet became far less varied, consisting mainly of a few starchy staples, which led to malnutrition. Living in crowded, permanent settlements created a breeding ground for diseases. We didn't domesticate wheat. In a way, wheat domesticated us. We became slaves to the planting and harvesting cycles. Furthermore, agriculture created the concepts of property and surplus. For the first time, people had more than they immediately needed. This led to social hierarchies. Some people accumulated wealth and power, while others were left to toil in the fields. Kings, priests, and soldiers emerged, living off the surplus food produced by the peasant majority. The vast cooperation networks enabled by the cognitive revolution were now put to work building kingdoms, empires, and complex social structures based on inequality. We traded a life of relative freedom for one of security, but at a very high cost. For thousands of years, civilizations rose and fell, but the fundamental logic of the world remained largely the same. Most people believed that all the important knowledge was already known, written down in ancient scriptures or passed down by the gods. The future was expected to be much like the past. There was little concept of progress. Then, about 500 years ago, everything changed again. We entered the scientific revolution. The driving force behind this revolution was a simple but powerful idea: admitting our own ignorance. We started to accept that we didn't have all the answers. Instead of looking to ancient texts, we began to observe the world, gather data, and formulate new theories. The motto of this new age became, I don't know. This humility, this willingness to question everything, unleashed an unprecedented quest for knowledge. Science and exploration went hand in hand. European empires armed with new technologies and a hunger for discovery set sail to map, conquer, and understand the globe. This era of exploration was financed by another powerful fiction: capitalism. The belief in future growth allowed credit to flow, funding ever more ambitious expeditions and scientific projects. Science, empire, and capital became a self-reinforcing loop. Scientific breakthroughs led to new technologies, like the steam engine, which powered industrial empires. These empires, in turn, funded more research, seeking new resources and advantages. In just a few centuries, this feedback loop completely transformed human society. We unlocked the secrets of the atom, mapped the human genome, and landed on the moon. We have eradicated diseases that plagued our ancestors for millennia and created a global network of information that connects billions of people in an instant. We now wield godlike powers of creation and destruction, which brings us to today. We are, without a doubt, the most powerful species the planet has ever known. But Harari leaves us with a chilling question. Are we happier? Did all this progress, all this power actually improve our well-being? A hunter-gatherer 30,000 years ago, a peasant 3,000 years ago, and a software engineer today, who has the better life? The answer is not as obvious as you might think. We have conquered the world, but we don't seem to know what to do with it. We are more powerful than ever, but we are also facing unprecedented global challenges like climate change and the disruptive potential of artificial intelligence. The same fictional abilities that allowed us to cooperate and build civilizations are now fueling ideological conflicts and consumerist fantasies. The story of Sapiens is a story of how we acquired immense power. The next chapter, which is being written right now, will be about what we choose to do with that power. As Harari puts it, is there anything more dangerous than dissatisfied and irresponsible gods who don't know what they want? That's the question we all have to face. Sapiens is a truly mind-bending book that will change the way you see yourself and the world around you. It's a sweeping, epic narrative that connects the dots of our entire history. I hope this summary has given you a taste of its brilliance. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey through human history. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content that makes you think. Let me know in the comments what part of our history fascinates you the most. See you in the next video.